guys, welcome back to my channel. I am finally getting around to doing this tag. I was tagged quite a while ago by Doris from Aldi Books, and I've been meaning to get to this. I have a list of tags that I need to get to, and I just haven't. But I wanted to film this one today because I've been watching everybody else's and I really like this tag, so let's get into it. This tag was created by Harriet Rosie, who, if you haven't checked out her channel, you definitely should. She has some great content. I love her channel, so go check her out and subscribe if you haven't already. But like I said, I was tagged in this by Doris from Aldi Books. I will link both hers and Harriet Rosie's videos down below. And the first question is, how many booktube channels are you subscribed to? Now, I did not attempt to try to break it down by exactly how many of the channels I'm subscribed to were booktube channels, but I'm subscribed to about 164 channels overall. I was actually subscribed to quite a few more than that, but then I went through recently and kind of decluttered and found that quite a few of the channels that I had watched a whole lot when I first started BookTube are either completely dormant, so I haven't posted videos in more than a year, or they've wiped their content completely off of those channels. So that was surprising and a little saddening, but I would say overall about 160 channels, and that's going to be booktube channels, YouTube beauty gurus, there are some kind of lifestyle channels, and then a few bullet journal channels, and the here or there comedian type channels like Hannah Hart and Grace and Mamrie and Sophia Nygaard? I can never pronounce her last name, and then every time I hear her pronounce it or somebody else pronounce it, I'm like, oh, that's how you say it. Anyways, so some of those kind of like bigger, funny comedian type YouTube channels as well. Question 2 is, when do you normally watch BookTube? And I would say I do the majority of my watching after work, so in the evenings, but I also do watch a fair amount first thing in the morning. And now that I have a job where I am not on the phones talking to people all the time, I do listen to BookTube videos while I do other things at work when I can. So if it's not something that I have to be super like looking at things, if I'm just kind of monitoring something, then I can listen to them then. And I listen to them kind of mostly when a lot of times it's when I'm really tired. So in the morning when I don't have the mental energy to read, I'll listen to or watch a BookTube video or a YouTube video. Same thing about kind of right before I go to bed. And then usually first thing when I get back home from work. And I definitely, anytime I'm doing my hair or makeup, I'm listening to YouTube videos. So I don't always watch them, like look physically at the screen. More often than not, I'm just listening to them. And kind of, if there's something that I think, oh, I want to visually look at that, I'll go back and rewind it. And I'll stop and comment sometimes, but that is also why I feel like I end up being more of a lurker than a commenter. And something I want to get better at is that because I listen to them while I'm doing other things, I forget to actually leave comments. I almost always like videos that I watch, but I am really bad at actually commenting on videos. Question 3 is, how do you balance BookTube watching, reading, and making your own content? And I think I actually watch probably more BookTube than anything, which I always have to remind myself to stop doing that because I spend so much time like listening to and making note of books that I like and want to read, and not as much time actually reading those books. And I feel like I go in and out of phases of this, where sometimes it's like all I want to do is read and I don't watch hardly any BookTube. And then other times I just watch a lot of BookTube and I end up like kind of not reading nearly as much. And as far as making my own content, typically I do that in batches on weekends where I'll film a bunch at once and then I will schedule them throughout the month. It just depends kind of on my inspiration level, my energy level, what my schedule looks like, that kind of thing. And all of this has to be kind of scheduled around a 40-hour work week. So a lot of it has, you know, more often than not, it's kind of how do I balance all of those things, and exercising and eating healthy and cleaning the house with working full-time. So there's a lot of balls in the air. The next question is, are there differences in the types of videos that you like to watch versus the types of videos that you like to make? So for the most part, no. I typically am making the kind of content that I would watch. I would say that I do like to watch TBR videos, but I don't really ever make them because I'm not the type of person that sticks to a TBR. So I really like to watch those, but I don't make them. But as a general rule, like, I like to watch vlog style videos. I do really like to watch Plan With Me's and bullet journal videos, but I used to make Plan With Me's on a separate channel that I had, and it was tedious and I would never go back to that. But I still like to watch those things, which that's not booktube, but I know the bullet journal community has kind of creeped into the booktube community. Who was the first booktuber that you started watching, and do you still watch them, is the next question. And I do. So Cassidy Von Shea was the first booktuber that I found. And I do still watch her videos when she posts content. I know she doesn't post nearly as much as she used to because she's in like pharmacy school or something. She has a lot going on. But I do still watch her. I, like everybody else, kind of found the booktube community through the YA booktubers and then sort of branched off from there. But I do think that I really like her personality, so I still watch her channel, whereas I don't watch a lot of the other bigger YA booktubers that I initially started watching before I found the kind of adult booktube community. And then on the flip side, who is the most recent booktuber that you subscribe to? And that would be Classics with Courtney. I found her through somebody else's video and I subscribed to her recently. And then the next two questions are to share a old favorite and a new favorite booktube channel. So I'm gonna say my old favorite is Sam's Nonsense. She was formerly Novels and Nonsense when I found her. She was actually one of the booktubers that really inspired me to make a channel. I could like vividly remember watching her videos when we were in Nashville for the Renaissance Fair like years ago, and me being like, I could totally do this. So I've been watching her since her channel was really new, and she was one of the booktubers that really kind of inspired me to start getting involved in the community too. And then as far as new favorites, I would say Books Like Whoa. I found her during the whole small booktuber kind of tags that were going on in February around the whole demonetization thing. She actually did a really incredible video about the whole demonetization thing and the problem with it for smaller booktubers or smaller YouTubers in general, just from like an educated background in kind of the technical world. And she also does a lot of stuff around Agatha Christie's books, which I love hearing. It reminds me of Tanya from Listed Sus Reader, who's not really making videos anymore. So I just think she's fantastic. She's a great personality and I really enjoy watching her. And just so you know, all of the channels that I'm mentioning will be linked down below. And then the question that seems to be causing a lot of discussion, be that good or be that bad, is what are your booktube pet peeves? And I definitely have agreed with a lot of the pet peeves that I have seen across the board. If you haven't watched the Booktube Watching Tag that Adam from Memento Mori did, go watch it. I was like side splitting. Like he's always funny, but this was particularly funny. And I do agree with some of the things that he mentioned. I would say just sort of in general, one of my biggest pet peeves with any kind of book video is when people put music under them talking, because it's rarely done well. It's something that is so distracting, and I'm trying to focus on that person's personality, that person's content, what they're saying, and all I'm hearing is music that just doesn't even go with the mood or the tone. And from a background where I used to do video editing as a career, that's something that has always really gotten me, is when the music doesn't match the tone. And yeah, so I don't like music in booktube videos, and I really hate it when anyone speeds up their videos, because it's just so grating on the nerves, like super grating on the nerves. I would rather watch a 15-20 minute video than watch a 10-minute video that's only 10 minutes because you sped your voice up. That drives me absolutely batty. So those are really my two, and they're mostly technical. Everything else is kind of like personality based, and you know what? Go on with your bad self. And then the last one is, what have you learned from other booktubers? And I would say I've learned a ton of things just from this community. I've definitely learned a lot about kind of reading critically and thinking about not only the subject matter, but also about the author and how their background and perspective affects their works. So the whole own voices movement was something that I think was not in the back of my mind for a long time, and I'm really glad this community brought that forward, because it makes me think about where I'm spending my money, and sort of helps me to learn about other cultures, and also do that in a way that is not like learning about somebody's culture from somebody who's not a part of that. So I really appreciate that part of the community. Yeah, so that is really the biggest one. I think I also have just developed an even bigger appreciation for independent bookstores. Not really for any specific reason, just because kind of seeing more independent bookstores and kind of the perspective of Jen Campbell and how she, you know, the bookshop book that she wrote, and kind of just people talking about independent bookstores. I already had an appreciation for them, but just a deeper appreciation, because independent bookstores are such a community space, and I feel like this community mirrors that, and just how powerful books can be in the lives of people. That's something that I feel like I've learned from this community, that kind of mirrors that of an independent bookstore community. And then the obligatory tagging of people. I looked, because a lot of people have done this tag, so I was like, everybody that I was like, oh, I'll tag that person, already done it. So I'm kind of late to the party on this. I will go ahead and tag Sam from Sam's Nonsense, because I don't think she's done it unless she's already pre-filmed it. Also Stephanie from Time to Read, and then somebody else that does a lot of tags that I think would really enjoy doing this, and I would really love to hear her perspective, is Kayla from Books and Lala. So I will list everybody who's been mentioned. I will list their channels down below, and if you haven't done this tag, I would love for you guys to do it, and then just let me know in the comments so that I can go watch it, because this has been one of those tags that I've just had a lot of fun hearing everybody's perspective, and just, I don't know, just getting into their personalities and their lives, and seeing kind of how this community is a part of their bigger life. So yeah, it's been fun. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye!